Back in 2017, the Turkish government banned Wikipedia sites in all languages in the country. This happened after Wikipedia refused to remove an article that talked about the government supporting terrorist groups such as ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Unfortunately, this was not the first time the country's government banned a website or social network, since it's common for them to ban sites such as YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and even WhatsApp, especially during major events such as protests and terrorist attacks. These bans have been known to go on from days to even months, but this one, which lasted almost 3 years, was the longest ban to a website ever imposed in the country. And in any country, since some could access Wikipedia using VPNs, but these are often blocked too. This has been the tightest Wikipedia ban in the world, since the most famous one is the Chinese, but you can access Wikipedia in China in other languages other than Chinese. In Turkey, there was absolutely no access in any language at all. The 2-year plus ban was lifted. The decision was made last December, but it was actually lifted in January of this year. Additionally, politicians are said to highly influence the court's decision, which is why many Turkish journalists and lawyers have questioned and wondered why the decision took so long when other platform bans have been known to have been found unconstitutional in a matter of weeks or months. Even though the lifting of this ban is definitely a success, there is still so much to work on. Turkey has always had problems with freedom of expression, access to information, and press freedom, but all these problems have been even greater since the 2016 failed coup. Due to this, there is press persecution both nationally and internationally. Many journalists are imprisoned, at least 68 according to the Committee to Protect Journalists. There are structural fails that need to be fixed. For example, the president's office is the one that issues the press cards, which is the equivalent to tarjeta profesional here in Colombia, which doesn't exist anymore. This makes it very difficult for independent journalism to thrive and even exist. Defamation laws are also used to silence journalists that speak not only against the government, but negatively of the country in general. And in addition to this, the judicial system is not independent and is highly influenced by politicians and even the president, which makes journalism even a harder job and thing to do. Additionally, international journalists are not safe either, since media outlets such as Le Point in France have been persecuted by the president himself, and foreign journalists based in Turkey are also being targeted and persecuted. US-based or foreign-based journalists have been victims of this problem too. For example, a group of Bloomberg journalists based in the US were charged and convicted for releasing an article on the country's economic strategies. All of this journalism crisis that Turkey is going through is a very horrible situation. Since 2016, at least 180 media outlets have been shut down by decree of the president, and about 2,500 journalists have lost their jobs, which certainly makes for a journalism crisis in the country. And this is one more piece of evidence that points to the many problems that Turkey has. According to Amnesty.org, Turkey is the country where most journalists are imprisoned, making up for about 1/3 of the world's imprisoned journalists. And all of this just shows that the Wikipedia ban is just one very small success for a very long fight that there is still to be fought.